uh, I'm feeling really excited to have this conversation, and I've been looking forward to this just because we had a short conversations earlier. And as I'm going to upload this video for my audience, and I would like to know something about you, and I need to give some introduction to my audience. So, sir, please start explaining about you and your journey.
Yeah, very good morning, sir. Actually, my name is Shiv, and I born and raised in India, and my native place is Uttarakhand. By profession, I'm a government employee, and as far as my academic qualification concerned, I'm done with my master in English, master in commerce, and this year I'm pursuing a master in economics. This is my final year. In addition to this, I do teach English to beginners and intermediate speakers through different online applications as an unofficial English trainer. And I run my own YouTube channel by the name of English with Teachership, where I upload spoken English content at the same time some conversational videos. So that's all from my side.
Okay, I have to let my audience know that you are the admin, or you are the creator of this Skype group, I think. Is it true?
Yeah, I have my own Skype group here in that application where I guess around 400 or sorry 500 or 90 or 582 members are practicing with each other.
So that is what I wanted to point out. So it has been a great effort by a single person, I think, and from a
Hmm.
non-native speaking background, I guess. And you've been. It is not just for survival, I think. Uh, just you. This channel has benefited a lot of. For example, a real example, right? I'm connecting to you here from Sri Lanka, so I was able to connect to you just because of these groups. So that is why I have to be very grateful to you. Just
Thank
because not you are, I'm connecting with you for this conversation. Just it is what I truly feel, and that is once again I need to say thank you for that, for creating such great opportunities to people to connect. And sir, you said, and you're doing a lot of things, and you've done a lot of things in education as well. And apart from that, uh, what I love about you is the conversation I had earlier with you. What was revealed was that it was very comfortable for me when to talk to you, just because yeah, you are so patient, and you allow other people to express themselves. And apart from that, the
thank you.
pronunciation, I think you have worked a lot on your pronunciation as well. I don't feel any difference to understand you clearly, like other people, right? When I have conversations with other people, sometimes it doesn't uh, feel difficult, but you are much more matured in that way. Uh, it's easier, and you gave me some feedbacks, to positive feedbacks, so that I can be corrected myself. And I want to know, and I want to share with my audience. And how did you first? How did you uh, train yourself? And did you train? Were you trained uh, in a specific place, or by? Uh, were you influenced by any other particular person, or an organization, or a teacher? Would you like to share?
Sure, I love to. First and foremost thing I want to say thanks for the kind words which you have used, where I have connected with you through that Skype group. Yes, it took me a lot of effort to gather all those people from different part of India at the same time from some other country as well. And we need a platform where we can connect with each other. Why? Because when you talk to different people, you are going to accumulate diversity of thoughts, their ideas, and knowledge. So it's not only for me, it is for everyone. When they connect with each other, they are going to exchange their knowledge and the stuff they have been learning so far. So that's something all about that group. Now, coming back to my pronunciation, well, yes, actually, my pronunciation is a bit different from the way a normal Indian speaker speak English because I started learning this language with the help of some native speakers. They haven't trained me for that, but again, I have interacted with them a lot on a platform, and just because of that, I got a bit influence of their accent on my spoken English. But again, I listened to them very carefully, the way they were pronouncing every single word, and from there only I acquired this pronunciation. Not intentionally, but yes, unwillingly, it comes to me. And talking about my English journey, well, honestly speaking, I completed my whole academics from my own native language, Hindi. In my school days, there was no subject like English. So when I started my journey, I started from zero, from scratches. I started from ground level because that was a time when I couldn't speak a single sentence in English. I couldn't introduce myself in English. And I was such a terrible and awful speaker of English. And for that reason only, there were so many people, they have criticized me a lot just because of my very pathetic English. And one day, what happened? Someone criticized me to that extent where I couldn't tolerate. I took that humiliation as a challenge for me. And I didn't say anything wrong to that guy, but I just said, brother, you are insulting me right now for my English because you are far better than me, and I'm just a beginner. But this is my promise to you. And I made a commitment to myself as well that I don't know what will I do, how will I do. I'm totally blank. But for sure, I'm gonna speak English far, far better than you. From there only, I got this fire inside me that I have to learn English by hook, by crook, but I have to. I burned myself as a midnight oil. From there only, I started doing practice around 14 to 16 hours every single day for the next 6 months. And fortunately, yes, after doing this much hard work, I got fluency. I'm not saying that I was that fluent, but at least I was in that position where I could express myself in English to anyone. And day by day, I started practicing on my some other skills like pronunciation, then a bit grammar. And then I started learning vocabulary. And one day, one of my teachers said me that if you really want to step up your game and you really want to intensify your speaking skills, start teaching others. And I told her, like, how can I teach others as I myself a beginner? But she suggested me when you start your teaching, when you're going to educate others, unconsciously you're going to educate yourself as well. Because when you're teaching others, you have to teach yourself. And that deep research will allow you to excel your knowledge. And from there, I started teaching others through different online application. I create my own session, and I've been helping and guiding so many students for last 2 years. So yeah, that's how it goes. In taking care of your question.
Sure. So you could start where you start from where you stopped. You were telling the
Uh,
how you were intensifying your your learning, speaking ability,
yeah,
many things.
yeah. So I was saying that I did practice a lot. Like I did practice for 14 to 16 hours every single day. I burned myself completely like a midnight oil. And then after 6 months, I got fluency. And I was not that fluent, but yes, I was in that position where I could speak uh, English in such a way that I was actually making sense and I was not fumbling and stuttering. And after 6 months, I started teaching those students who have been struggling from different issues in terms of spoken English. And I have been teaching English through different online applications as an unofficial English trainer. And I somewhere I'm working upon my own skills as well. So yeah, that's all from my side.
And would you like to ask me something, sir? You have any questions for me?
Yeah, sure. The same question for you. What about you? Like, when did you start your English journey, and what are the steps you have followed in order to master this language, and what are the obstacles you have faced in the initial days, and how did you tackle that?
Actually, I had to go through the same kind of scenarios and difficulties when I was young. And in Sri Lanka, my mother tongue is Sinhalese. So I studied at Sinhala Medium School. And in back in 1996, I faced my oral examinations. And after that, when then I was about 16 years old. Till then, I didn't know how to make a sentence, and I didn't know even what subject was, and so what the verb is, and what the object of a sentence was. And after that, I did my A-level examinations when I was about 18 years old. Actually, I started to learn English when I was about 20 years old, and I was able to gain a good grammar, solid grammar from one specialized teacher. But then nobody talked about the speaking skills, and even in our classes, there were no peers whom I can share my thoughts in English. And I would say no background at all. And then after I finished 2 years of learning from that specialist teacher, which I was really interested in learning those days, because there was no demand at that time. There was no demand, or there was no competition among the people. So I had no objective why I should learn English, just because I went with the flow. Just people started learning English those days, and I went to a class, and I just luckily I was able to grab good grammar. And on learning that, and I was actually in my village. I come from a rural part of Sri Lanka. Yeah, it's about 150 kilometers away from the main city, and the southern part of Sri Lanka, which is very rural. And but in my villages and neighborhood, and I was invited to do some classes, and I started giving tuition after that. Yeah, I had the habit, and I inculcated my habit of speaking to myself. And I used to talk to myself, and I had a small bicycle, foot cycle, and when I was riding my bicycle home and back home, and from from home to the classes, so I have 15, 16 minutes or half an hour time. So during that time, I used to talk to myself, and I I was also a keen lover of movies, even those days, from those days, and I tried to imitate myself. I tried to imitate the radio presenters and the actors who pronounce the words, and I kept talking to myself the same words sometimes 5, 6 times, and I really like the pronunciations. And that after that, the mobile phone came by, and I started recording myself. So I wanted to artificially create my own background, just because I didn't have one. And if I want to be fluent, and if I want to communicate with people without any hesitation, I thought I needed to create. So I started those days. In Sri Lanka, there were good radio channels, English radio channels, and I was able to understand, because I know grammar, and I didn't have vocabulary, so my vocabulary started widening when I started listening to the radio. Uh, in those classes, I read books which the teacher recommended us, like the books like Alice in Wonderland, Treasure Island, Oliver Twist. Those books, I read those books, and now I started listening to the radio, and it's completely different, right? The things which we read in books is totally different from how people speak on radio. I thought earlier I thought this is same language, right? Everybody can unlike other languages, it's totally different. Like when you write something and when you speak it, it's totally different. There's a huge gap. But I knew when people understand whether you write or whether you speak, but there's a difference. Later I found out that there's a huge difference, and especially when I started listening to the radios, right? Then I thought of exploring things. This is not just English. There's something more than this. Then I started watching movies with subtitles, and after that, when the mobile phones and the smartphones came, and I look for opportunities. I have been looking for opportunities, and luckily I got. Uh, I sent some messages to YouTubers like you, and once I was lucky enough to have an opportunity, and I was able to have a conversation with an Indian YouTuber, and she introduced me to one of these groups. So then that is how I got here actually, and so I created artificially my environment so that I can spend a lot of time on that. That is how I slowly started speaking.
Wow, that's really amazing and incredible. I have seen many people, they keep on complaining that we don't have environment. There's no one with whom we can speak in English. How can we practice English when there's no one to whom I can speak in English and I can practice? And again, you have proved that if you want to learn English and if you have that burning desire to master this language, so it's not every time you need an English speaking environment, artificially you can create for yourself. You should not behave like a beggar that you are begging for an English speaking environment for the whole day. Rather, you have to think about out of the box that how can you create an environment for yourself, the environment which you are looking for. And that's because you were so enthusiastic towards this language. You had that fire inside you. You triggered your soul, and you decided to innovate that English speaking environment for yourself. And that's really amazing because what I feel it's easy to complain for anything, but that much difficult to find a resolution. And you found that resolution that if I don't have an environment, so how can I inculcate it for me? Super. And talking about pronunciation, yes, people who are non-native speaker of English should improve their pronunciation uttermost. Why? Because the way we pronounce the word, if not understandable to the person with whom we are talking, then there is no sense and no benefit to have that conversation because he's not even getting you what you are speaking. Then rather using English, you can use Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, whatever language. He will not understand that these language as well. So you need to understand the imperativeness of correct pronunciation during your spoken part. And basically, what I found whenever I'm talking to people, most of them have MTI issue, mother tongue influence,
Yeah.
which means when they are speaking English, you can easily see, you can easily observe that mother tongue influence in their spoken English. It is reflected. And somewhere they're trying their best to speak English and they actually speak. But just because of that influence, uh, we cannot understand them. And it used to happen with me as well. But yes, I worked upon it and somehow I vanquished completely. Yeah. So I just want to ask you one question. What do you think about value of grammar in spoken English? What do you think? How much grammar is required when you're speaking English?
I think grammar plays a huge part. Uh, but this is about communication skills. So grammar is actually a one part. So if you just think about just the building, this is, there are four pillars like speaking, reading, listening, and writing. Yeah, I think it cannot say that grammar is very important. It's true, but if you just go through my videos on my YouTube channels, it's although I know grammar and I said I'm a teacher and I've been teaching nearly 15 odd years, but when it comes to speaking, I struggle a lot. It doesn't uh, it doesn't matter whether you know grammar or you use grammar, you teach people grammar. Uh, if you want to become fluent, you need to have the environment, or you should need to somebody in English definitely. So it is really helpful. Without grammar, I think you can touch the surface. Without grammar, you can touch the surface. You can, yeah, speak, but still, uh, the native speakers or the learned speakers would identify the mistakes you're making. It's true. It's not. I mean, in the process of speaking to someone, it's common to make mistakes. It is expected to make mistakes. You are expected to make mistakes while you are listening, while you are learning. But so to be recognized as an English speaker, I think you need to make less mistakes as possible, as less mistakes as you can do and make. So I think, yeah, anybody can speak to communicate in the sense of communication, but if they want to achieve intermediate levels or advanced levels or higher levels of learning English, I think grammar is really important. Without grammar, I've also watched a video, you and some of the other YouTubers. There's a nice argument, and you shared good thoughts about it and valid thoughts. Yeah, while I was there watching that, what I felt was, when people, arguing or people presenting their own ideas, they want to take the prominent and over the conversation. But what I felt, it's really important to learn grammar. Without grammar, it's really hard to make, yeah, make the beautiful, you can't bring creativity. Right? You can imitate people. You can bring uh, things from other people. You can bring artificially, but to make it more connected, more beautiful, more creative, you need to know the grammar. If it is, it's like walking in a jungle without grammar. It's like walking through a jungle without the correct roads and paths. Right? You would go there, you would see the beauty, but it's not the easiest and the most proper way. So that is how I see about grammar. I know grammar is important. Listening is also important, uh, and I can't consider anything uh, less important. But definitely, I would say grammar is really important. And I totally agree with you. And you support the idea of knowing grammar.
Well, actually, talking about grammar, somewhere I agree with your thoughts, with some of my disagreement, frankly speaking. That was the debate. Actually, both of us have decided like she would speak on the behalf of yes, grammar is not important, and I will be speaking from the behalf of that yes, grammar is really important.
So
That
let me
was
know,
pre-decided
was
between
it
us.
arranged conversation?
Spontaneously, we have decided that topic and we started having debate about it.
Oh,
It was not even like pre-decided, but yes, spontaneously, I've asked her, ma'am, do you have any topics? She said, no, I don't have any specific topics. So I said, I have one idea in my mind, if you are okay with that. So she asked me that, what's the idea? Then I just said, why don't we conduct a debate? And the debate is all about grammar. And I asked her, ma'am, you can tell me in which side you are feasible with. You can go for that, and I will take the opposite side of that. She said, okay, I don't feel that grammar is required to speak English fluently. I said, okay, ma'am, no worry. I will be speaking from the behalf of that. Yes, grammar is important. Without grammar, you cannot speak English fluently.
okay.
So that was something we have decided spontaneously. It was not even pre-decided, but yeah, we had a very healthy and constructive debate, and I think not only you, but also every single person have enjoyed a lot. Though I was not in a favor of grammar, and still I'm not, because frankly speaking, since I started learning this language till now, I haven't learned grammar in my entire life, and I don't even know. I hope, as you have a good knowledge of grammar, since you started teaching, you can easily spotify my mistakes since we started interacting with each other when I'm making grammar mistakes, right? But again, somewhere I feel first thing you need to understand that why you are learning English and how much grammar is required there to solve the purpose behind learning this language. If you are more into writing and all, for example, as in a case you want to become a teacher, then yes, for sure you have to have the grammar knowledge. If you want to become a writer, author, or you want to just clear any written examination, then grammar is mandatory. You cannot avoid it. But in case if you are learning English for the sake of speaking, communication, you want to socialize yourself, you want to connect with people around the world, then first you need to focus on your flow and fluency, and you need to develop that level of confidence inside you where you don't feel hesitant and shy to connect with people. Once you reach at that level, of course, you can go for grammar, but not before. Otherwise, you're going to decrease your confidence somewhere because of that grammar. The second thing is that if you are at beginner level or intermediate level, I would suggest you to don't obsess with grammar.
Sure.
First, try
100%
to
agree.
accumulate content, yes. Try to have some basic information, the fundamental information of grammar, not thoroughly just tenses, because tenses are mandatory. Without tenses, you cannot even frame a single sentence. That's what I believe, right? And you can go for articles and proposition. Then a bit, a glance of modals. That's it. But not more than this in initial stage. But last but not least, see, sometimes what happened in my case, I don't even know grammar, but how did I pick some of rules of grammar? By having conversation with people. I just acquired some pattern of grammar. When I'm speaking, I've acquired some pattern of grammar. For example, when you are speaking, if you are using any grammar pattern, so I have to just learn it. So I remember the day I was talking to someone, and then he said, "I have a habit of," I have a habit of, or he was saying, "You have to have grammar knowledge. You have to have." So this you have to have is itself is a grammatical pattern. I don't even know what is the rule behind it, right? But I have just simply picked it up. that you have to have. You have to have that courage. You have to have the grammar knowledge. You have to have that niche inside you that you start learning this language. You have to have a powerful reason to enunciate your journey. So that basic pattern you have to have, I picked up, and I've been using this basic grammar pattern in different variation, right? So that's what I feel. But again, I can not even deny this factor that grammar is the soul of English. It's a root of English. You cannot even separate a language from grammar.
So it's
Why?
inseparable.
Yeah, because for example, I would say my chief is name. Is it correct sentence? It's not. I have to say my name is Shiv. Subject, verb, then object. Okay, that's the formation we need to follow. But again, there's another thing that I want to say. If I would say I am boy, did you get my point? What I said when I'm saying I am boy? I think you understood what I'm saying, right? But again, is this sentence correct? It is not. I have to say I am a boy. Article A should be there. Then it would be correct, right? But that's what I'm saying. When you are more into academics and you took English as a subject, then you have to have grammar knowledge and you have to speak grammatically correct. But yes, when you're speaking and you just want to make yourself understandable, so first just focus on your expression that you can make people understand what you are feeling and what exactly you want to talk about. Later, accuracy will come. And I feel accuracy is something, the more you talk with people, the more you spend your time with this language, the more you immerse yourself, the more you will get exposure of this language, like reading, then listening, then writing. Automatically, you are going to pick some grammar patterns that you can use for your spoken part. So that's all I feel about this grammar and all.
It's true. That is what I was trying to point out. And although I'm a teacher, sometimes I start struggling to express myself, just because the knowing grammar sometimes holds me inside me, right? So it sometimes, does not accelerate my journey. So that is why, uh, I want to have as many conversations as I can, if I'm available. So, sir, we have talked a lot. We have, in
Yes.
terms of time, and I'd love your company, and I want to have another conversation. We would definitely have another conversations on a different topic. So we usually, I mean, this is the first time we have such long conversation, and I think the audience would also love this, and I think they would prefer to have different ideas, different thoughts when we get connected. And once again, I think basically when we people meet for the first time, they in these uh, groups, we just talked about the journeys we've been through, and apart from, I personally love having conversations on different topics where we can talk and explore on different themes, so that we can be exposed to new vocabulary, uh, new experiences, new culture, and everything. So let's have another fruitful conversation surely in the future. Thank you so much for uh, being part of today's
Yeah,
conversation.
yeah, it was a really constructive and fruitful conversation as usual, and I've enjoyed a lot. Hopefully, you as well. So, thank you for connecting with me, giving a precious time. Yes, in the future, we'll come up with some different topic and we'll come up with some different ideas so that our audience will get benefited by all those thoughts and will benefited by that particular conversation we'll have in the future. So, till that time, see you around. Bye bye. Take care. Have a great day.
Okay, bye from Sri Lanka.